Hi, I wanted to start going through the box. Over a year ago, I was given a box by ex-CEDU staff that was meant to start an older student CEDU school in Idaho. Going through it is very, very difficult to say the least. Just even trying to organize it is difficult. But I do know that the few people that have read through what's in it, it has been the only therapy that we have had. And it is also proof of how brutal what we went through, even though at my specific school we were not physically beat or locked in rooms. This is the Confidential CEDU Education Emotional Growth Curriculum of Beginning RAP Training, Sessions 1, 2, and 3 Basic Faculty Training. It is copyright 1996 by CEDU Educational Services Incorporated, all rights reserved. This document contains confidential and proprietary information. It may not be divulged or shared in any form without written permission from the publisher. Beginning RAP Training, Sessions 1, 2, and 3. Program Staff Training, Presentation Overview. The script developed by Carmen I don't even know. Carmen Mir Y. Taryn, script written by Jill Young in May of 1996. It says materials needed are an easel stand, paper, markers, snacks, handouts. The length of the presentations were 3 hours. There's 3 sessions that were 4 hours each, so 12 hours total. So this is the training for, in the beginning, when you're a new staff, this is how to run a rep, right? So it shows the agenda for each session. The first session is about introduction, the definition of a RAP, RAP goals, RAP agreements, RAP support functions and responsibilities, conclusion/homework. The second session is introduction, group experience, partner experience, bringing closure to a RAP, conclusion, and homework. The third is introduction, 3 types of RAPs, RAP support resources, personal accountability, conclusion, and homework. And the activities is group interaction. It says see next page for trainer tip. Trainer tip. It is important that the same facilitator deliver all 3 sessions. It is also highly recommended that participants attend all 3 sessions. Before you present the RAP training, read all 3 sessions first. Depending on the group and the flow of the discussion, you may want to skip around within the material. The inclusion of all of the contents of the 3 sessions is more important than the sequence of delivery. Most of the other basic program staff training sessions have been lecture style. These sessions are an excellent opportunity to taste, feel, and smell CEDU education. Allow time for processing, sharing, and experiencing. And I also know in these pages it says that Mel Wasserman made RAP training videos. So out somewhere in the world there are multiple versions of Mel Wasserman training staff on how to run RAPs. Introduction to session 1. Trainer tip. The purpose of the introduction is to tell the audience what you are going to tell them and why. Motivate, orient, investigate, excite. Ask yourself, why does my listener need this information? Oh, so this is even like how to train somebody on how to train the other staff on how to run reps. Ground rules, this is actually, so this is introduction to training somebody on running reps. Let me see. Yep, it is. Yeah, so this is like, oh, you've been here for a little while. Okay. You have to give a definition of a rap. Define a rap on an easel. A forum for all, so the definition of a rap was a forum for all participants to have open and honest discussion to deal with feelings, past and present issues, traumas, childhood experience, family, and to take risks, expose self, work towards acceptance and resolution, adjust behaviors, and become accountable to the degree that they are willing to go. Define a rap facilitator. A trained and skilled staff person who orchestrates the rap in such a way to facilitate a child doing his or her emotional work. His or her primary function is to support and teach the goals of a rap. He is responsible for everything that goes on in the rap. The facilitator establishes a safe and interesting environment, develops relationships, asks probing questions, directs the flow of verbal disclosure, uses the opportunity to teach values, models appropriate behavior, gives advice and direction, etc. Define rap support. To support the rap facilitator and rap goals, he or she tune into what the rap facilitator is doing. Those are like the one or two secondary staff that would be running a rap. For those of you who don't know, raps were 3 times a week. You had to request at least 2 to 3 people every rap, or else you would get in trouble. And it was the synonym version of what a rap was is called the game. It was attack therapy, and it was also, we didn't get all the time abused by the staff. The staff trained us to do it to younger students as we progressed in our program. 3, this is page 4 of 9. The trainer tip, ask participants to brainstorm all of the goals of a rap. What are the goals of a rap? It's to teach and maintain values, philosophy, and culture of CEDU education, teach and maintain the agreements, code of conduct, teach plumb and square, keep schools safe by focusing on specific issues, i.e. busting underground plots, sex, smoking, hazing, running away, etc. The funniest thing is that the first one was busting underground plots. That means it's like kids trying to run away. That like they were making contracts, which means they were just even talking about like, how the fuck do we get out of here? What do we do to get out of here? That was busting underground plots. Teach the process of healing, forgiveness, and resolution. Focus on specific theme, i.e. grief and loss, adoption, parent or sibling issues, molestation, rape, suicide, death, etc. Develop honest relationships. Provide safe environment for emotional growth work. Teach language and communication skills. Model healthy problem resolutions. Bring value to a child. Develop leadership skills. Explore belief systems and self-talk. Encourage honest and real evaluation. Teach personal accountability for behaviors, quote-unquote, do to get. Manage energy levels by allowing controlled emotional discharge. So, like, they were like, oh, let it, like, I remember this now, that they would be like, don't be angry, like, during the day, or, like, don't take things out on it. You have to wait for a rap. Like, you would just, like, hold everything together and you, like, let it all out in a rap. There would be times where as soon as a rap would start, half the room would just start screaming at the floor, taking care of their feelings, because that's what they were trained to do. Control violence. Maintain a positive peer culture. Provide an opportunity for high-level individual participation. Teach that there are universalities of the human condition. We are more alike than not alike. Teach confrontation skills through indictments and the ability to get a voice. Teach the tool of humor, that ability to laugh at oneself or the situation. What was that? Or the situation. Oh, just the ability to laugh at oneself or the situation. Group sharing. How do you personally feel about raps? What is the level of your participation in raps? And what do you support, or what do you do to support the goals of the raps? Jesus Christ. So these are the rap agreements. What are the rap agreements? You're supposed to, like, whoever's doing this is supposed to write it on the easel. Sit across from the person you want to indict and talk to. Maintain confidentiality. What you said stays in the room. It is okay to share your own experience It is okay to share your own experience out of the rap. It is not okay to share other people's experiences or use their names outside the rap. No eating or gum chewing. We weren't allowed to chew gum on campus, so I remember just like even knowing that like they would tell us that and they're like, we can't chew gum anyway. You cannot leave the room at any time, but must be totally involved. So that meant that, like, while all this was going on, if you were just sitting around looking up the ceiling, you were gonna get fucking screamed at. You were gonna get interrogated. So if you were not actively, like, trying to jump across the room to start also yelling at whoever was getting yelled at, just to give your 2 cents, because there was a rule of even if it didn't stick, even if it wasn't true, you had to yell things at people until you saw their face change because it maybe hurt more. And then you're like, oh, that means something. And so basically a lot of us became cold readers after this shit. No physical violence or threats of any violence. That's almost laughable because, you know, I'll tell you, yeah. No intentionally hurting someone or identifying something that person can't change. Jesus Christ, that's absolute horseshit. No intentionally hurting someone. For that to be an agreement, and that no intentionally hurting someone or identifying something that person can't change. Each person is accountable or responsible for what he or she says. Why are the rap agreements important? To establish a common ground of safety. Participants have a deeper sense of honesty because they know that what they share will be confidential. Participants know there will be no violence allowed. Participants know that they won't get picked on for things they can't change, like being overweight, etc. They allow a forum where children can be exposed if they break any of the agreements. So that's also what's funny about, we were never really seeing like an entire list of all the things that we weren't allowed to do. And that was a big part of the indoctrination, is that every day you'd learn something else that you had been doing wrong for a while and you didn't even know it was an agreement, that you had agreed to this rule by living amongst these people. So that's funny, because it's funny that I remember even just reading the no eating gum or no eating during a rap, because we actually did have a written list, or we actually saw all the rules of a rap before, because I remember these rules. But every other rule, it wasn't really ever written down. Let's see. Next page, rap supporting functions and responsibilities, trainer tip. These functions and responsibilities can be verbally discussed or written on easel. Rap support functions and responsibilities have a clear understanding of the rap goals, be the eyes and ears on campus. Everything that happens, parentheses, lunchroom, dorm, outside, class, expeditions, conversation, end of parentheses, is brought to a rap to be processed. Your role is to see the interconnectedness, the big picture, the child in all situations and all functions. Take appropriate action to things you may hear during the course of the day, i.e. smoking in the woods, needs consequences, follow up. Make rap requests. Actively request to be in a rap with certain children. Actively support the rap facilitator. Be another set of eyes. Scan the room while the facilitator is focused on one person. Draw others in if you see body language or know of personal issues. Try to avoid distraction while drawing a student into what is happening. Be totally involved in the process. Contribute. Ask questions. Provide insight, support. Indict others. Share personal issues and stories. Rap support and function. Okay. Page 8. Participate. Adults have a lot to bring to a rap. Each of you used to be a teenager, are members of the human race, have had life experiences, have had dreams, aspirations, goals, have a mission in life, have unrealistic fears, can teach by example, can share who you are, can share your personal story. Use common sense. Don't talk about current issues, i.e. marital issues, boss, your job. That Jamie said some stuff about that. And so I think so did John Alvey. Both John Alvey and Jamie said, yeah, we set some stuff up. We were told later we shouldn't have said. I thought that was funny. And just, like, I don't fault, 80%, I would say, of the staff that I knew there. I mean, there were a couple of monsters there. And, I don't talk to those people, but Randolph I have Randolph's handwriting in all of these boxes. Because I know what his handwriting looks like, because his handwriting's also on, like, goodbye notes to me in my scrapbook. And he's been my friend my whole life. He's helped me remember everything about CEDU and more that I didn't know. And this is not a normal documentary or investigative thing into the troubled teen industry, because my shit is fucking over. The person that gave me all of this shit, they're only worried about getting sued by whoever owns CEDU now. So it's I have this, and if this shit is still happening, if this is proprietary, this is a fucking problem, and that's why I'm reading this. Okay, use common sense to talk about issues. Refer to child's behavior, not the person. Actively listen. Repeat or reflect on things that you hear to be sure you are clear of the real meaning. I'm just going to try to establish relationships with other children and the children of the rap. Use the rap as a tool to bond with people. Debrief with the facilitator. Take the responsibility to debrief the experience immediately. Don't wait for the facilitator to initiate. Take the responsibility to get what you need. Maintain a rap journal. Take the time to record your thoughts after each rap session. Your insights, feelings, assessments, information on children, goals, and then the conclusion, homework. Just for session 1 of the rap training. Tell them what you for trainer tip. Tell them what you told them. Oh God, let's see. Class evaluations, exchange telling your stories with a peer within the training group. Pick a partner, take turns to tell your story. Be an active listener. Start a rap journal. Homework follow-up. Story exchange must be completed by the next time we meet. And be ready to share the kinds of things you're starting to write in your rap journal. And then they ask you to clean up. So there was this whole thing of when staff started to work at CEDU, they started to have to also go through their own emotional growth curriculum. I was there for, I remember many things that were, probably breakthroughs for adults, going through this stuff. And, I don't fault those people for that. And I don't think that it lessens the experiences that were positive. And a couple, like, I'm only really talking out right now because a lot of people have found me and they're like, I've only heard horrible things about you. I've only heard that you're making a positive and negative documentary. And I'm like, I'm only saying that because based on what I know about Cross Creek and Tranquility Bay and the Catherine Freer schools and High Impact and Casa by the Sea and Spring Creek Lodge and all these other hellholes, I had a fucking vacation. We were a anti-religion school based on the Beatles lyrics. I mean, it's insane. So, I should just freaking go through what the Imagine is. Introduction to Dissection 2. I can't even read through all of it, but, the group experience is when they have, Section 2 is when they're surprised to put a rap on staff, and so all the staff have to do a rap on each other. Yeah. I can't, it's pretty, I'll go through this another fucking time. Let's see. But yeah, there's like rap evaluations, bringing closure to a rap. Fucking. Let's see. There's some names of. This is from 1997. CEDU staff training record. This location was Boulder Creek Academy. Vicki Jones, beginning rap training on the 1st of the January 29th of 1997. It was 4 hours. I can't really read any of the names except for Boomers, Summers, Curtis Boyd, Molly Mangioli, Dan Von Bargen, Darcy West or something, Kimberly Shapiro something. Just a bunch of rap evaluations for the first day, and then introduction to session 3. Oh, can I read this? The 3 types of raps were standard rap, basic rap involving the day-to-day running of the school, threatens the child's safety and emotional growth. The children have a high level of control over these issues, requires a good experience level to facilitate. A theme rap is a rap involving certain themes such as grief and loss, adoption, siblings, molestation, death, divorce, etc. Threatens the child's well-being. The child had no control over the event, usually requires a very good experience level to facilitate. And then the third is an issue rap, a rap involving certain issues such as underground events, sex, smoking, hazing, running away, etc. Threatens the children's and school safety. The child has complete control of the situation, requires an expert level of experience to facilitate. Ow! Threatens the child to be that children have a high level of control. So this is when they're actually saying this rap is because this child has control over something that we don't have control over something. Standard rap, a basic rap involving the day-to-day running school. It threatens the child's safety and emotional growth because the children have a high level of control over these issues. And then the second one was a theme rap because the child had no control over the event usually. Oh, because it was something that wasn't their fault, like adoption or siblings or whatever, and that was why it was a theme. But then the issue rap is the child has complete control of the situation, which means that they don't know what we were doing. So an issue rap is like they know kids are dirty, they know there's something that the staff doesn't know, and so that's okay. So that requires an expert level of experience to facilitate. One of the biggest offenses on this campus is to have a student silent and intimidated by another student. This needs to be exposed, handled, managed, and followed by severe consequences. The child needs to be taught to trust that we can bust that level of underground and he or she doesn't need to live this way. The child who is dominant and intimidating and in charge of the underground needs a great level of exposure and must be made accountable for his or her actions. The school as a whole will feel clean when this exposure happens. To the degree you expose and control the underground, to the same level you will have control of the school. Holy shit. The first thing you learn in the Truth Prophet is to the degree that you feel your sorrow, to the same degree you feel your joy. So, to the degree that you expose and control the underground, to that same level will you have control of the school. Jesus. Rap support resources. Group discussion. What resources did you have available? For advice, consult with any of the following: older students, team leaders, another counselor, family resource coordinators, or teachers. Other options: get someone else to deal with the child. You do not have to be all-knowing. Make rap requests. You don't always have to give advice give support. It is okay if the kids are in a struggle. They need to be allowed to stay with their feelings and to trust them. They need to be allowed to experience their own struggle. They need to learn to bring their own acceptance and resolution. There is a tendency to fix things for the children. Don't allow yourself to be bandied on a deep wound. If you respect the feeling of the children, you will teach them to do so also. Just give support and listen. Personal accountability. Group discussion. As a counselor at CEDU Educational, as a counselor at CEDU Education, you are accountable. The behavior of the child is not to be taken personally. Realized behaviors are not personal attacks on you. Use your feelings and experiences to help you empathize. Come from care and support. Be assertive when you communicate. Use I messages. I have a problem with you. Criticize the behavior, not the child. Don't bring your personal anger to work. Indicting a child must be based on their behavior for their benefit, not to express your anger. The more accountable you are as a human being, the more accountability you bring to the reps. Go for broke. You have choices. The children don't. You're in a growing environment. Bring more accountability to yourself. Jesus, motherfucking. On an easel, draw a large circle illustrating a pie. As participants answer the question, fill in the wedges of the pie. Pretend the pie represents your life. What do you bring accountability to? It could be friendships, goals, social, finances, work, family. It all just seems like bullshit. Group sharing, trainer tip. I don't know, they're just telling the staff to be accountable for their life in some sort of weird reason. Before you ask each person, I don't know, it just doesn't seem like it ever. Conclusion homework, trainer tip. Tell them what you told them. Asking to clean up again. And then there's a RAP support self-evaluation. Were you able to maintain and teach the culture, our ethics, value, and philosophy of the school? Draw the line, maintain the line of what is acceptable to the school's standards, adjust students' negative behavior, establish and build student-faculty, student relationships that nurture and support growth and development, release pent-up emotions, release pressure, create room for new ideas, information, and behavior, facilitation of emotional discharge. Oh, Jesus, how much more is this? There's a lot more. I'm just not fucking reading. Please return this in to your program director, Ned Murray at Rocky Mountain Academy, or Lori Rist, LORIRIST, at Boulder Creek Academy, by the following date. So, that's just one thing. That's just the RAP training. And this is just one part of RAP training. I have multiple versions of levels of what they were training faculty to do. Yeah. When we have to read MK Ultra stuff, like when we're reading about Project Artichoke and Project Bluebird, and for me, when reading it, and there was the trip report, and that to me was like, oh, that's definitely Charles E. Diedrich's name crossed out. They're definitely saying Synanon. They're definitely talking about Synanon in MK Ultra. But then there's the other levels of stuff, and it was that some of the stuff in here, I started reading bioenergetics, and I don't even know the correct spelling of it because it's spelled two ways. And it was also something that I remembered, it was the bioenergetic dyad. The survivor community, like, I picked up things and like, didn't we astro project a lot? And it was at all of the places. There was all these things that they knew about transcendental meditation and like focusing on our solar plexus, and but we had to, it was the thing that really made me remember was my friend Zoe was like, do you remember when we used to have to hold a blue ball of energy in our hands? And I was like, oh my god, yes, I do. We all had to do that. And then my friend Elizabeth, who was in Teen Torture Inc., she reminded me, she's like, yeah, and we had to like imagine it changing size, and like I think I remember that like we had to even like push it, like try to like throw it around to people to see if they would be able to feel it, or maybe it was that you should be able to hold it and feel it enough that if you threw it to somebody, they would be able to feel it. Maybe that was it. But we had to sit cross-legged from each other with our knees touching and have our palms of our hands this far away from each other while we were like this, and we'd have like push our energy and like imagine and feel an energy field like this. But it was after we had been fully brainwashed that like the people that we were going through this were, you know, if they blinked wrong, I'd know that they were lying about something. That's how well we knew each other. So it was like twins, but also, you know, it has been proven that if you there's even a television, I think there's like a new reality show where they're trying to test that if you're autistic, if you have some like, you know, autistic tendencies, you're a tiny bit psychic. And some of the things in MK Ultra even were trying to see if they could force autism on us, on people. And I'm not autistic. Anyone in my life would never believe that. There is a very, and I know that it, like, autism specialists get mad at me for the way that I talk. I'm sorry, Angela, but it's that the forced institutionalism that we went through for such long amount of time, for such long periods of time, and they programmed us with songs. So if we're in a grocery store and a survivor from Cross Creek has to hear Desperado, that's a fucking pretty big setback in that person's life for, I don't know, probably a month. I would say that that's not gonna. We were programmed to feel things when we heard things, and in the same way that if you've ever seen A Clockwork Orange and Malcolm McDowell, can't hear Beethoven's Fifth, he can't hear Ludwig van, even though it was his favorite song because they gave him, behavior modification while his favorite song was playing. He will always, when later on in the movie or in the story, like he can't ever hear that anymore. It's the same thing. For us, it's the song, the worst for me is the song Imagine, because the Imagine Prophet was the last thing that they put us through before the bigger workshops. And it was also the key to remembering what CEDU was about. We have to remember that CEDU was made by the generation of people that were the most affected by John Lennon's death. And it wasn't that, that John Lennon died because somebody just wanted to be famous for something. They thought that John Lennon was killed because he didn't believe in religion. And it was CEDU told us that the lyrics to Imagine were dangerous to society. And when the world started going fucking crazy, when war is happening, and all I could think of were, the lyrics to Imagine as an answer, I was like, holy shit. Like, these people tried to they tried to flip the switch on behavior modification and gave us a hippie counterculture of, fucking trying to tell us that never believe in religion. Don't ever think that, your country is worth dying for. Don't, think for yourself. And it also proves that the people that were the superpowers of, CEDU, the success stories of CEDU, those people that continue to follow religion are terrifying to me, and I will not speak to them because they literally scared the shit out of me. But the people that have been through CEDU and take what they learned and laugh their ass off it and, are a good person afterwards, those are the best people that I've ever known in my entire life. And it is not the same for other kids. It isn't like my friend Chris, who I want to podcast with really soon. She's a tiny bit younger than me. She went to Tranquility Bay, and she is the only person I know that is healed from this shit. And it is because she was a part of a study on complex post-traumatic stress disorder with Vietnam vets. And so, and it was right after she got out of Tranquility Bay. So most people cannot talk about this. It's taken me over a year just to even do this. And the world is finding out about us. And, you know, like, a lot of people really hate me. And to be flat out, I do not fucking care. I came to this community 2 years ago and I said, you know, I want to make a documentary about CEDU. And everyone was like, oh, don't talk about it. It's too triggering. And I was like, well, you guys all know Paris, right? Like, I knew her when I was there. Like, it's been, the last 2 years, especially the last, year, has been, like, embarrassingly fucking horrible for people in my life. It's ruined many things for me. But I'm not going to stop because I know that this is an important thing that has to be talked about. And I was very happy that John Oliver barely, he scratched the surface. I don't know why he never said Teen Torture Inc. on Sunday. It might be because, I don't think it solved anything. I know there are a few people that were in Teen Torture Inc. that are very proud of it, but my friends that were in it, my friend Elizabeth Anderman was in Teen Torture Inc. I would have never known that she went to a CEDU school if she didn't find me after it aired to tell me that for 2 days she explained CEDU and how Synanon, that like CEDU is the tie between Synanon and the troubled teen industry. She explained that to HBO for 2 days and it was cut. And the only thing that makes sense to me after many fucking hours of trying to figure out I've taken this on full-time for over a year now. And it's Catherine McNamara. There is a woman named Catherine McNamara who, a long time ago, a couple years after CEDU was closed, she was given the Profit scripts that Dennis Dockstetter released to the public. It was given to Lathrop Liebrook, David Saffron, and Catherine McNamara. Katie never went to fucking CEDU. Why she was allowed to, look at those and be the one that, is in charge of everything, I'll never fucking know. But Lathrop and David never finished their programs. Lathrop, I don't even know if she went through one fucking Profit. What she has on her website of all the many schools that she went to is an absolute lie, the last time I looked. She was seriously at CEDU for 15 minutes. I don't even know anybody. I know a couple people that knew her there, but she has lived her life on just proving that CEDU was only abuse, and that if you say anything other than that, you are indoctrinated. And girl, it is getting fucking old. You won the lawsuit against your parents. Can you just fucking stop? So there is a very long line of backstabbing bullshit that happens in the fucking community, and it's not fucking happening again. I find people all the time that just are like, oh, I was told not to talk to you, but you're so trauma-informed. I am not trauma-informed. It is only by force that I have been freaking, I've talked to so many of you that it's easy to just to guess what you guys are like, or what you like. All of us have autistic tendencies. All of us will attack people verbally to the point where it's shocking. We are usually people will tell us that they would only believe that story happened because it came from our mouths. There was a comedian that did a joke about that he had to break up with a girl because she had complex post-traumatic stress disorder and she would scream in her sleep. To me, I was thinking about Jeff Foxworthy, you might be a redneck if you got You might be dating a survivor of the troubled teen industry if you have a girlfriend that screams in her sleep. Most people are so afraid to talk about this or embarrassed to talk about this, or they want to write books and be known for talking about this and never help, but just make money off of it. I thought that Meg Applegate and Unsilenced was cool. I thought that Liz Ionelli was trying to separate herself from this shit. But why Liz Ionelli has allowed Unsilenced recently to be tied to her fucking movie, I will never fucking know. I will never understand. But Katie Captain McNamara, her family is General McNamara of the CIA, of MK Ultra. Katie has made it so both the program and Teen Torture Inc. could not talk about CEDU or MK Ultra. And I don't fucking know why, but these are the fucking facts. And it's getting embarrassing when people are like, so what's stopping your documentary? What's going on with your documentary? I'm like, well, there's a whole fucking cult of people that are following both Paris Hilton and Katie Mack, and they think that they're doing everything in the name of activism, and now Meg Applegate's taken her place. And so it's fucking hell. This shit is embarrassing. This shit is, this shit has, I believe that this has fucking killed people before. And I'm not going to let that happen to me. And it's only not going to happen to me because I can laugh at all of it. I am not a liar. There's one thing about me is I am not a fucking liar. And everything that I've said can be found. Katie has two websites, www.breakingcodesilencelawsuit.com and www.waspsurvivorstruth.com. www.aspsurvivorstruth.com is her other one. I know that I'm in one of those extensively. I think it's the Wasp Survivor's Truth. She talks a lot about me. I don't even go to those websites because I'm not a hacker, and she is. She's an expert hacker. So she has taught the survivor community to also hack in her name, and so none of this shit is ever going to go online until this is taken care of. And that's all I have to say for now. Bye-bye.